Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Vibe is Precious. Hi guys, and today hope you guys are feeling very much okay. If it's your first time clicking on this channel, I love you so much, thank you. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you very much for keeping with us. So I'm reacting to Jordan Peterson on society lies to women, something related to that. I don't know, I just came across this video on YouTube. I'm like, whoa, I know Jordan Peterson is a very intellectual man, so I really want to see what he has to show me in this video, guys. So let's get right into it.
You see the ONS data that came out a couple of weeks ago that said for the first time ever since records began, 50.1% of women are childless by 30. So there are more women without children at 30 than there are women with children. The first time ever.
Well, so this is somebody clipped a part of one of my podcasts, I believe it was, where I was talking about what our society does to 19-year-old women or 18-year-old women, 19-year-old women. We just lie to them all the time. You know, the first lie is there's nothing more important than your career, more or less by definition. So that's the first lie. The second lie is there will be nothing more important to you in your life than your career. So that's the second lie. And then the third lie is there should be nothing more important in your life than your career. So that's the third lie. And then implicit in that is the idea that children are a burden, and that the idea that women should have children is part of the oppressive patriarchy and should be resisted. And who are men to tell me what I can do with my body? And hey, fair enough, and et cetera, et cetera. Now, I've worked in female-dominated occupations my entire life. I worked, for example, as a daycare worker way back when, that was like 1980, something like that. And there were no men doing that, but I really liked kids, and so that was fun. And I worked for social services in Alberta in the child care department, and then I've been working as a psychologist, either training or as a psychologist since then, and that's been a female-dominated enterprise increasingly as the years went by. But even when I first entered it, so I'm in the post-female in the workplace generation firmly. I never experienced the world except as that. And so I've watched women progress through their professional careers at every level of attainment, from the lowest to the highest, and observed what happened. And relatively, I would say, bias-free, because I didn't know. And what I've seen is that as women progress towards their late 20s, there's a psychological transformation, and what happens is that they place less emphasis on their career and way more emphasis, particularly on having a child. And that really reaches a crisis point around 29 or 30 for the vast majority of women, and their attitude flips. And I've seen it flip very dramatically with many women. And I suppose the most most convincing evidence of that, I worked with high-end lawyers in Toronto for about 10 years. I was part of an organization. We went to law firms, high-end law firms, and said, send us your most productive people, and we'll help them iron out whatever wrinkles there might still be in their life. And the advantage to them is that things will go better for them, and the advantage to you is they'll be even more productive. And there's a good management dictum, which is pay the most attention to your most productive people, because they're bringing in the bulk of your revenue disproportionately. And so I worked with men and women who were at the peak of their careers in a very difficult enterprise. And so these were women who were generally very attractive, well put together physically, pretty stable psychologically, extremely conscientious, very, very smart, and high achieving from like junior high all the way through high school, university, law school, onto the top firms, rocketing up through the ranks, full partnership by the time they were 29 or 30. And all the law firms, all the women bailed out, all of them. The law firms couldn't keep them. And I was really, and I talked to the women a lot about this, because I was very interested in it, because I knew the law firms were bending themselves over backwards and tying themselves into knots trying to retain these women, because why wouldn't they? You know, just being greedy capitalists is enough. You know, they don't want to lose their high-performing women because they're performing at the highest level, and they couldn't keep them. The women wanted to have 9-to-5 jobs. They wanted to bind the job so they could have a life, and that was especially true once they got interested in having a child or had one. And what they really came to was a very interesting realization. So because they were highly conscientious women, they sort of did their duty and worked hard and diligently and didn't pop their head up to ask questions. They were in junior high, they got the best grades. They were in high school, they got the best grades, and so on, all the way through, right till they reached partnership. But that's sort of an apogee, right? You hit partnership in a senior law firm, it's like you're at the top of your profession. Well, then what? Well, so then they looked around and they thought, here I am with all these like hyper-competitive men, perfectly willing to work 80 hours a week, nonstop, to stay at the top. What the hell are they doing?
So, Jordan Peterson, like I said earlier in this video, is a very, very intelligent man. Like what he said is actually true. Like most women, once they start getting to the age of 20,
like their late 20s.
Yeah, like they start thinking of children and the rest. And you know, I think it's what the society actually puts in our head, honestly speaking. Because if we didn't have an idea, okay, at this so age, you could stop bearing children or you could fall into menopause, we'll just focus on what we feel we should focus on. And when the right time comes, we get married and, you know, start bearing kids. But at the same time, it's exposing us because, you know, society is telling us what they feel, even though they're lying to us. You understand? Like, I get the point where he's coming from. I get I get his stand. And you see, one thing about women is that we could be like workaholics and we could at the same time fall off at any slightest peak.
Yeah.
Like a woman can be getting everything she wants and then she'll just find a man and make her stop doing what she's doing. But you see the men, you hardly see them like that. Like they obviously still have to work. You understand what I'm saying? Like the women are a bit not like when they see someone, especially when it comes to male, like to get married to them and all, and they see that okay,
ladies are soft-hearted.
Yeah, that's just the truth. Like, and they say okay, he's like, stop working, I'm going to pay you. Like, you know, there are a lot of housewives out there. Like, it's becoming to be like a trend. Honestly speaking, like everybody wants to become an housewife. That's just it. Like, it's supposed to be a good thing in a good way, you understand? But some women still feel that, oh, okay, they should work, they should do something. Some women can't be idle. Like me, I won't lie, as the person I am, I could, okay, fine, stay at home, be a housewife. But she right sitting here, I'm not sure she's going to be able to do that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's actually your perspective of life, you understand? That's just it. So what's your take on this video?
I must actually say what I said was true. In the aspect, like, you know, we now, let me just say, we ladies here, getting to your late 20s, you start thinking about children. Even aside even children, we think about marriage first.
Exactly. Like, oh my God, I need to get married.
Because once you're 25, 26, 27, and you're not in a serious relationship. Okay, let's say you're in a relationship, you don't see the person marrying you, like being serious.
Even 23, like
you start thinking. I'm just saying 25, 26 because that's the limit. That's actually your late 20s already. You're 23, you should be like, okay,
anything can happen. Now, I'm not talking of the part of the serious relationship part, though.
Yeah, I understand. You know, once you're 25, you're not in a serious relationship. Like, sister, my mom would be like, go to church.
Honestly, like,
that's what she's going to tell me. You need to go. You know, exactly like you said, society. You know, once you're in your late 20s, you're not married.
Everybody's going to start.
Exactly.
Even though your parents,
start giving you this Bible.
Are trying to understand you. The society is not going to understand you.
They'll be like,
guys. They'll be like,
they might start.
Okay?
Not even a matter of are you okay. They'll be like, they'll start giving you as an example.
Yeah, like look at this lady.
Look at her. She's not married yet.
Because maybe she took her career first, or because maybe she made this move.
Exactly, one move or one mistake, they'll start putting it as an example. Don't be like her.
Don't be like her.
And you know, the next we'll start thinking about children, and we'll start to see all your mates there with kids. Then you always want someone to call you mom.
I think these days we have more single mothers. Honestly speaking, like most ladies are even fed up of this male shit and marriage. Most women out there are just single mothers, giving birth and taking care of their kids.
That's just it, because because you know that is another pressure. You know, okay, now you're 25, you're 20. In fact, let me just say 28, 29. You're not married, and you just get any slight of relationship, and even if he's misbehaving for the sake of let me just get married and give birth, you just do that, and at the long last you end up as a single lady, like a single mother. Sorry,
you will be frustrated in the marriage. You will not be okay. You can't enjoy what you've already started. Like, okay, let's say the first 1 month you're trying to patch things up. I feel if you are in the state of marriage or you're in a relationship, I feel the person you are with is, excuse me, it's not giving you what you should give you. Like, it's not giving the kind of manner or attitude you're supposed to give you, and you're saying you're going to patch things up. My sister, please try as possible to, you know, find a easier and faster means of doing it. And if you can't work out, just leave the person, because you end up being a single mom.
Yeah, you know, dating someone, like maybe you've dated someone for like 2 to 3 years, and it's time to get married, and it's time misbehaving and all. Like, we ladies, once they say I'm sorry and you are apologizing,
the funniest thing is just
when you know, when you say I'm sorry and you keep on making that mistake, like, we were soft-hearted. Like, once you apologize, we will, like, we'll still have that hope of, okay, you're gonna come back, you will change. And I want us to dead that thought.
The thing is just that, you see, marriage is different from relationship, and there's relationship and serious relationship. Do you understand? We are planning on getting married to someone we are in a serious relationship with, and I think that person is misbehaving, and we are seeing that, okay, you're getting to marry this person in a few months or in a few weeks, and the person is still doing that same thing. Is that as red flag? And you're like, okay, fine. It depends on what the person is actually doing. If it's something major and you know that, okay, getting married is going to change, he's not going to. Because if doing that thing alone, he feels you already gotten used to that thing, and
once you get married, it's going to worsen.
Exactly. So that
I've come across a marriage.
But actually, let's not even, you know, make it look so bad. They could actually change, though. They could.
And
it's not
the
like
percent of change, let me just say, out of 100, I'm going to make it a 25, 30. That's how bad it is.
That's why I say it depends on who you are with. It could actually be the person changed.
Yeah.
Do you get? That's just it. You don't know.
And actually, you know, I was saying something. I've come across a marriage. A marriage that they got married and they divorced after 1 month.
Yeah, my friend was telling me about a friend. I don't know how she got related to the person, but she was telling me a story about a couple. They got married, they went to the honeymoon, they came back, and they fought in the morning, and that was the end of it. Like, you just got married, went to the honeymoon.
Exactly, because you didn't get to understand the person real well. That's what I feel. It was a
heated argument, and the cause of the argument was toothpaste. I was like, what the hell? Toothpaste? Yes. Like, that's what Benedita told me. Like, I was like, what the fuck, toothpaste? She's like, yes, you know, when you talk about something and this thing brings another thing, maybe like, oh, that's the other time I told you about this so and so thing, that you shouldn't do it that way. But relating to maybe I told you to not keep the pots this place, and it's like, oh, the pot, really not because of you went out.
You know, let me tell you something now. Talking about this, you know, one thing about argument. You know, once you're shouting, like, I feel the other person should be calm, because when you start raising your voice, so we'll be raising your voice, and it's no result. But now nobody wants to take chances. You're shouting, I'm going to shout at you back. So you will see less of me and all.
Yeah,
exactly. We don't have that chill and all, because you know sometimes this words these days, when someone is shouting and yelling at you and you're calm, they just see you as a foolish person.
Honestly,
they keep on doing and repeating the same thing. But once you shun them, but at the same time shunning them, both of you, I'm sure that's what caused the problem.
One thing I know about relationship is that it's not good for two people to be angry at the same time.
That's what I'm saying.
If you find out your partner is very, very angry, okay, you guys can be arguing, you're both angry, and I see how his is getting out of range. At that point, as a woman, you just need to calm down and cool off. You understand?
Exactly.
And don't make it to be heated, because he's a guy. You say if you're a lady, you can also hit him. You understand? She's not able to be calm and all. And then maybe when him himself, you know, is in a much better mood, like even though you see a bit angry, then he'll come up and be like, oh, this thing happened, this shit happened, I didn't like it. Like, you know, you understand? You know how couples behave. Like, mommy's telling me this funny saying that they could fight in front of you, but at night you don't know what's happening in there. Like, they could just settle their shit, and then tomorrow morning they'll be talking about you. Like, you feel so bad for trying to settle them. Like, that was the funniest thing about.
But before we shift totally, because now we're shifting towards relationship. We're talking about birth, please.
Yeah.
And actually, what you said is actually true, though. Like, you know, once you're in your late 20s, you want a baby to call you mom. You see your friends.
The society will start giving you this pressure.
Exactly.
It's not supposed to give you.
Aside the pressure, like, you just come across videos, mom. You just be smiling.
You know, actually, some people don't even have a heart for all those things. But because of what they hear, some people, what people tell them, they take it to heart, or what people make them look like, they take it to heart. They can watch a video going through TikTok or anything on Instagram and see a baby, and they'll be like, ugh, I don't care. So people don't even have the interest of having a child in this world. But because of the kind of training they've had, they'll be like, oh, they need to multiply, they need to give birth. So people people don't even like. I can just come up from somewhere and be like, I don't want to give birth in this life. It's not like I hate children or I don't want to, but I just don't want to have children. Do you understand? There are people like that.
I've actually not come across.
You know, actually, those such people don't come to you plainly. They can't come and tell you I don't want to have children because of this kind of society we are in. Do you understand? They can't come. There's people that just maybe have transgender now. They are coming out every day. We're seeing lesbians coming out every day. That's the way them to one day they'll start coming up and we'll be like, whoa. So people like this can just come out to show me and be like, they don't want to give birth. There are people like that. People that,
you know,
people that
there's
sell their eggs out.
You know, I know that one is a different case because they're very, very productive. You know,
not even that. Like they're actually selling their eggs out because they don't want to give birth. There are
because
people out
you know,
there.
aside that, if you tell me, okay, a lady is scared of labor.
It's different. That's the different thing I'm talking about.
I swear, I've not come across such.
Me too. I've not come across such person. I'm telling you that there's going to be obviously
because
a person.
everywhere is just getting sport and I don't know.
It's not even a matter of sport. So let's say motive. You see, just the way some ladies come down and say they don't want to get married. Do you understand? It's similar to a couple saying they don't want to even have their own children. They prefer to adopt. Do you understand? Like they just want to adopt kids.
Most cases I've actually heard is when the girl is not, or let me just say when they are not productive.
That's a different thing. Like you're supposed to understand.
I understand what you're saying, but it's very, very rare. Please.
It's not. No, I'm not saying it's something happening, and I've not seen anything happen. But I'm telling you that there's someone out there willing.
I know there are people out there. There's nothing.
There's nothing that is impossible because the world is so
like
big.
that.
Do you understand? So like there are people out there
with their feelings and all.
They can even say, okay, they can have a lot of sex. In fact, they will decide to remove their womb. They don't even care anymore. They just live their life mercilessly.
Exactly. Like you know, there's this point you get in your life, you're fed up. You just want to do what you want to do. You don't care. Like I'm just gonna live my life to the fullest. Nobody's gonna tell me.
Honestly, the females, we do a lot in this. Like we're actually significant. Of course, you know, we give birth. You know, produce. It's not easy, and I'm proud to be a female. We come to the end of today's reaction. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye.